Hey Scorpio, we're going to be doing your reading, so we're going to get right into it and see what is going on for you guys, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, let's see. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, 2 cards came out for your opportunity right away. All right, 2 of Wands at the bottom. So, all right, let's see. You guys have the 9 of Swords, and this is showing up for your energy for the week. So maybe there's something here that I want to say that maybe is keeping you up at night. Okay, that might be something that's going on. Could be that you're feeling anxious about something, okay, or feeling like something is like unsettled, that kind of thing, okay. That's kind of what I'm understanding, but I also really am very much so getting the energy of like something like keeping you up at night or affecting your sleep in some sense, or maybe you're just thinking about that in general, okay. I also wonder if possibly something has maybe like repeated like one too many times, something about that. So in the area of your feelings, you guys have the Hermit card here. Sorry, back to this 9 of Swords. You know what I'm also getting off of this, which is kind of interesting? I'm getting like, do they know? Do they not know? And I feel like that is like giving some sort of like, again, anxiety or something about that. I even wonder if you're maybe worrying about like somebody else, okay? That could certainly be it. You might be dealing with a Virgo as well. So, all right, in the area of your feelings, you do have the Hermit card here. So, all right, maybe feeling like that's what I'm saying. There's this feeling of like, I want to say wondering if somebody like knows something that like you're feeling like I don't want them to know that, or do they know that? You know what I'm saying? There's something about that I am picking up, okay? I will say there was like a good amount of like secret energy, that kind of stuff in Sagittarius's reading, and then also it showed up for like literally every single element for like the elemental readings that I put out as well. So interesting. Some of you guys maybe are feeling even a little bit like kind of like maybe isolated or lonely, something about that could also, I mean, that definitely would kind of like lend itself to the 9 of Swords, all right? There might be something that you're just kind of like I want to say going over again, or like really overthinking something. There's something here. So, all right, you have the 9 of Pentacles, and this is showing up in your environment. So I do understand something about like, I want to say somebody who's younger than you, or something, maybe an age difference, or I don't know, something about that, okay? That's what I'm feeling. This 9 of Pentacles showing up in your environment here. It could be that maybe you might be worried about something in the terms of like, is this like renewable, or is this something that I can like keep like putting into, or something about that, all right? I'm wondering if you're feeling maybe that somebody around you is feeling kind of depleted, or I don't know, or is having a hard time doing something independently, that kind of thing. Or perhaps this, for some of you guys, maybe you're stressed out about like a work situation, all right? Something about that could certainly be it. All right. I am going to assume that maybe the number 9 is like something that's very important to you, okay? That kind of stuff. You have the 9 of Swords, the Hermit card, which is number 9, and then you have the 9 of Pentacles here. So you have like 999, all right? All right, so 27, I feel weirdly confident about saying that 27 might be I don't know, a number that maybe holds like significance to something, okay? That kind of stuff. That also breaks to a 9. So, all right, let's see. So you guys have the Moon card here, and this is showing up for your goal. I'm also understanding something about like feeling. I'm almost going back to this like whole like number thing that I just kind of like said there. I almost wonder if you're kind of feeling like, I can't move on until like this thing happens, or something about that, or like, I don't know, feeling like unsettled in some type of way until like something gets like completely, I want to say reduced down to something, or something about that, okay? And again, I still am getting that energy of kind of like feeling like, okay, do they know or do they not know, that kind of thing. What I'm intuitively picking up here is that whoever this is, I believe is aware of whatever this is that we're talking about here, okay? I think maybe they just haven't said it yet, or something, okay? All right, so you have the Moon card, and this is showing up for your goal here. So I feel like there's just a goal of possibly shedding more light on something, that kind of stuff. And I really do understand something about like the nighttime here. Okay, absolutely. 9 of Swords, and then you have this Moon card, something about that. Okay, you know, for some of you guys, I wonder if I wonder if your goal is to like change the schedule of something possibly, or changing the way that something like typically goes. I don't know. I know that sounds extremely vague, but that's what I'm understanding here. Okay. All right. All right, so let's see. You guys have the Six of Wands, and this is showing up as your challenge here. So I feel like that is the challenge in general, is the energy of like, has this thing been seen, or has it not been seen, or has this person been recognized for this thing, or maybe this is you, whatever it is, that kind of stuff, okay? That's kind of what I'm feeling. I even wonder if there's a challenge actually showing up to something, okay? Like literally showing up to something, that kind of thing. That might also be presenting as like somewhat of a challenge here, okay? That kind of stuff. It almost feels like having to be two places at the same time. That's kind of what this feels like. So, all right, you had two cards come out for your opportunity here. You have the Page of Wands and you have the Lover's card here. So that's kind of nice. I feel like that part of this challenge has this opportunity has something to do with like maybe moving in a particular direction, okay? Or like, I even want to say like possibly like walking somewhere, that kind of thing, okay? Or I don't know, something about that, okay? You have the Lovers with it, so I even wonder if this is maybe like, this is, you know what I'm understanding is to like, if you are feeling like, God, I have to be in two places at like the same time, something about that, I almost understand like, I don't know, like going to one thing first that maybe is like more pressing or something about that, and then going to the other thing. Again, I don't really know what this is that we're talking about, but I don't know, there's something about that. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, let's see. All right, Scorpio. I'm getting a dating website, okay? I'm getting something about like a dating website or something about that, okay? Certainly that's not going to be for everybody, but I'm getting, there's something about that, or like a dating app or whatever the heck it is, you know, something like that. So, all right, let's see what's going on. Eight of Swords is at the bottom. So, all right, let's see. With the With the Nine of Swords, you have the Nine of Swords here. So I really feel like possibly nines are a number that just, I don't know, you like them or something like that, okay? That kind of thing. So yes, Nine of Swords, clarifying the Nine of Swords. I feel like, yep, that's what it is. There is something that I really feel like you are kind of like, there's something that's bothering you, or there's a feeling of like unrest, something about that. Again, definitely could be like affecting your sleep in some sense. And I almost understand something about like, okay, so for some of you guys, there might be something that you're like, dude, is this like a paranormal situation, or am I experiencing something on like a level of like a paranormal type of thing here? Okay, I'm understanding that energy. Okay, maybe you're feeling that in some sense. All right, that kind of thing. So all right, also maybe feeling kind of like stuck in the middle of something or something like that. So okay, let's see. So for your for the area of your feelings, you guys have the Hermit card, and then you have it with the Knight of Pentacles. So I gotta tell you, can I tell you something? This to me feels identical to like the Dark Night of the Soul. That's what this feels like to me, is either being alone, like by yourself for too long, or for too long in some sense, okay? And I also think that there is something here that you're feeling the energy of like a period of darkness, or whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. Like, you know, maybe like I'm even getting somebody who like sees like shadow figures or something about that, or is like experiencing something about that kind of stuff, okay? There certainly might be like a child involved or something about that. Can I tell you something? You know what this is really, really giving me the energy of is like, what the heck is that called? I don't know, having somebody in your house, I want to say, or like something like that, that like their energy is like affecting something is affecting something or increasing something like that. I feel like that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what I'm trying to say. So, all right, with the Nine of Pentacles here, you guys have the Princess of Wands. And again, this is showing up in your environment. So, all right, so for some of you guys, maybe this is like a younger person, okay, that kind of stuff, who's maybe wanting to do something like, again, kind of independently. Maybe you're kind of stressing out about that. I friggin' understand, okay, especially if this is, again, someone younger than you, that kind of stuff. Like, the world is like kind of a scary place, I think anyway. Or can be. So maybe that's like maybe you're feeling like, oh my God, like this is making me feel really uncomfortable, or I almost get somebody who's like checking the clock every 2 seconds, that kind of stuff. All right, I am picking that up, and I feel like there's just an energy of, again, maybe having to go towards something in some sense without really having like enough energy to do it, or having to kind of go towards something that maybe you're feeling like, well, this person isn't mature enough to handle that, or something like that, okay? That kind of thing. All right. I am picking up an age difference of some sort here. So, all right. With the Death card, with the Moon card, you guys have the Death card here. So, yes, absolutely. For some of you guys, I think you're, maybe just like very much tapped into something here, or there, I don't know. I'm getting that energy of like, being like, is this paranormal? I mean, I can't keep saying, I can keep saying that, but that's what I'm understanding here, okay? So, all right, it looks like in the past energy with this Death card here, there was something about a transformation of some sort, that kind of stuff. When I was getting ready for your reading, a word popped in my head, and I wish I friggin' wrote it down. And it was like transmuter or transmutation, something like that. Okay, there's something, but it's interesting because you have this Death card here. It says child of the great transformers. So I really kind of wish I wrote that down. That would have been awesome, but I didn't. Okay, but I feel like that's like showing up in your reading here. So, all right, yeah. So in the past, it feels like there was maybe some type of transition, or maybe not even. Some type of ending. I think we're going to call it that. So, some type of ending here. And I wonder if possibly your goal right now is maybe to look for like signs or synchronicities, something about that, okay? Or to kind of maybe reflect on a particular situation here, that kind of stuff. But I do understand something about like the nighttime darkness, something regarding that. So you have the Seven of Pentacles here, and this is showing up as the action to take. So, all right, I feel like there's maybe something here that it's like, okay, figuring out almost like what happened in the past, that kind of stuff, maybe like doing a deep dive into that, especially if this is like something that's super emotional, or maybe even like triggering in some sense. I feel like maybe like reviewing something, or kind of like, I even want to say like internalizing something in a different way, that kind of stuff. That might be somewhat of an action to take here, okay? And I also do want to say something about patience, all right? Something about like being patient with something, that kind of stuff. All right, so you have the Seven of Wands, and that's showing up as what this is going to bring in. You guys definitely have a good amount of like repeating numbers, so you definitely might be like just somebody who really likes numbers, or maybe you see angel numbers, whatever it is, that kind of stuff. So here you have 2 sevens, okay? Yeah, so it could be that you're feeling like kind of stuck in the middle of something, that kind of stuff. I do feel like that could be possible here. So with this Seven of Wands, like to me, that's like kind of like standing up for something, or kind of being like, I won this thing before, or I had a particular victory, and now I feel like there's this energy of like kind of backing that up, or being like, I'm not gonna back down from this thing, or whatever the heck it is. But I also think that there might be an energy of even putting like a boundary, and this could be like an energetic boundary, or something about that, maybe a physical boundary, okay, something about that. You have the Princess of Cups showing up as what to avoid. So I feel like I wouldn't let like your imagination like run wild with you, that kind of stuff, okay? I feel like it's more like kind of figuring out if something really is possible. This almost feels like, you know what I gotta tell you, it almost feels like what to avoid here is possibly being like, what is that? Or acting like you don't know what something is, or like, I don't know. So, even if, interesting, because I feel like you are maybe sure of what it is that you're looking at or experiencing, or something like that, but it feels like maybe this is even like you trying to like convince yourself of something else, being like, no, it wasn't that, it was something else, or that was just my imagination, or something about that, okay? I feel like that's maybe an energy to kind of avoid right now, okay? That kind of thing, only because it feels kind of like intense energy, that type of stuff. All right, let's see. So you have the universe with this Six of Wands here. So again, I feel like the challenge is maybe, again, the challenge seems to maybe like be having some victory that I think that you've had it before. If you've been like successful in some area, whatever it is, or literally like seen something, or maybe somebody else like showed up to something, whatever the heck it is, okay? I'm getting like this as somebody like, it's like I can see that, I recognize that, like there it is, like I see it, that kind of stuff. So, you know, the challenge might be that maybe there's somebody who's like not really thrilled for whatever victory this is, or type of success, that kind of stuff, all right? That could certainly be it. It looks like in the past energy, there was something that I want to say was like left unmarked, or unchecked in some sense, that kind of thing. That's what I'm feeling like might be the challenge, you know? What I'll also say is I understand something about something already like completing or kind of being like integrated, that kind of stuff, and then trying to show up like after. It's almost like you go to a store and they're like, oh, like we just closed, and you're like, no, I need to get in there, like something like that. I'm kind of picking up some type of energy like that. Okay, also this universe card says the great one of the nighttime. So, I mean, again, I feel like we've been saying that like your whole reading, something to do with the nighttime. I feel like that kind of is still true. So, all right, let's see. You have the Seven of Cups here, and this is showing up as what to, yeah, you have like so many repeating numbers. So Seven of Cups, it's showing up as the action to take here. So yes, again, it's like figuring out if something is an illusion or not an illusion, that kind of stuff, okay? That's kind of what I'm feeling is the action to take. But you know what's interesting? It's almost, I wonder if you're like, yeah, I've done this before, but I wonder if there's like a feeling of like, yeah, but can I do it again, or something like that, or feeling like somebody is not like, I don't know. I almost want to say like a, I don't know, like, what am I trying to say? I feel like there's something about like something is not an illusion, but you might be like telling yourself like, oh, that's an illusion, or this is on behalf of somebody else, that you might be interpreting something that they're doing, seeing, saying, whatever it is, as being like, okay, it feels like that's living in fantasy world, okay? Something about that. That might be something that like, maybe that's the action to take. For some of you guys, maybe you need to, maybe it's a good time to kind of like let yourself go into like fantasy land, or kind of like daydream, whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. But I feel like what is being said here is like, don't dismiss the information that you kind of get during a daydream, or during like whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying being like this is gospel and that's what it is, but I'm saying don't dismiss it, okay? Also, if this is like somebody else, it's maybe like giving you like synchronicities, whatever the heck it is, or information in maybe like a high priestessy way, I would like kind of pay attention to that, you know, that kind of stuff. So you have the Six of Pentacles showing up as what this Seven of Cups is going to bring. So a Six of Pentacles, to me, this kind of feels like, well, I mean, first of all, it says Lord of Material Success on it, okay? So again, it might be like seeing something as like, okay, is this an illusion? Is it not an illusion? Is this like, you know, is this too much of like built up in fantasy, or something about that? It might be like, hey, if you kind of like make a particular choice on something, or kind of like even look into like your options, even if maybe like one is making you nervous, or you're like, you've gone over something a million times, that kind of stuff. I still feel like kind of going into that energy is still going to bring you this thing of like, I want to say having something fair, or having something returned to you. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And I also understand it as being like, okay, now this is real, and now I can really like kind of give this to somebody, or that, you know, like where you should kind of continue putting something. I want to say invest, but I don't want to say invest. I more so like your time, maybe investing your time into something, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm feeling. There might be some confusion around I do think there is confusion around something, but I also understand this as like trying to figure out what that is, and maybe feeling a little bit nervous, or like hesitant in some sense, or kind of being like, you know, I don't, is that real? Is that not real? That, you know, that's what I'm understanding here. So you have the Three of Wands, and this is showing up as what to avoid right now. So, I don't know that I would wait around for forever for something, okay? I feel like maybe waiting in general is a good thing, because I do understand something about patience being part of like what you should do for this goal. But I also at the same time don't think that that means like, okay, just sit back and kind of like, sit there and do nothing and just kind of wait around, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm feeling, that like kind of avoiding that energy. More so like taking stock, like especially with the Six of Pentacles, it's like, okay, how long should I wait? Or I don't know, something like that, okay? That kind of thing. I'm getting somebody like borrowing something and then being like, okay, I'm going to give it back in some sense. But I don't understand what that means, because I feel like I've said that in a different reading, and I didn't know what it meant in that reading either, but I was getting that information. So, all right, let's see. So for your opportunity, so you had those two cards come out, the Page of Wands and the Lovers, and then you have the Nine of Wands, like that previous energy. So it feels like there was something that you kind of like, I want to say stood up for, or there's something that you either stood up for something in the sense of like, I'm not going to give up on this thing, or there might have been something that you were like, I'm not going to compromise on like how this is like completed, or I'm not going to compromise on that. I actually really think that might be really something that's going on for some of you guys, okay? Because it's like double Nine of Swords there. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like this feeling of like, okay, I'm like exhausted, or I've been like kind of like defending this thing for so long, or it's like, not wanting to compromise on the way something is completed, that kind of stuff. But that seems to be like, there's like stress about that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something that it's like, it's not, I don't know, there's stress regarding that. So, all right. So, with this opportunity, I feel like there's something about maybe, I want to say like the changing of the guards, or like moving in a different location, maybe one that is like more, that you feel like more satisfied with, or you're feeling like, okay, I'm going to move in the direction of like something that is like a better fit, or that kind of stuff. All right. That's kind of what I'm feeling. All right, so let's see. You have fortitude, and this is showing up for the action to take. So pretty interesting. I do like that, especially with this Nine of Wands, because it feels like there is a good amount of like strength or like determination to, again, like complete something the way that you want it to, all right, that kind of stuff. Or at the very least, like keeping somebody like back from something until it's the right time, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what I'm feeling. So I do think the action here is to kind of like move forward on something, but I feel like being super courageous about something, that's kind of the way to go. There's so much energy about like, is this real? Is this not real? Am I scared of this? Am I not scared of this? Why does this thing keep happening? How are we going to conclude this? That kind of stuff, okay? So I do think like strength card, or fortitude card anyway, is like an awesome kind of suggestion as like what to do here, right? Especially with that Page of Wands, like there is this energy of like using your strength, or using like your inner strength to kind of maybe even keeping yourself nice and like calm, cool, and collected on the inside, that kind of stuff, okay? Certainly could be part of whatever this is, all right, I almost even get somebody like talking like nicely to themselves, or kind of like giving themselves like affirmations or something like that, all right? I'm also understanding that. So you have the Empress card, and this is showing up as what this Strength card is going to bring in. So that's interesting. I feel like this is going to bring in somebody who either is making something literally easier in some sense, but I also understand this as like, so, I mean, something being easier, or receiving help from somebody, or this could even be like, I want to say going to like the next level of something, almost being like, okay, like I beat that thing and now I'm going to the next level of whatever this is, that kind of stuff. Certainly, I mean, there is like kind of a good amount of like pentacle energy here. So for some of you guys, maybe this does have something to do with investments or finance, or whatever the heck it is, that kind of thing. But it doesn't have to be like money. It could like certainly be like investing time, or investing like your emotions into something, that kind of stuff. So you have the Moon card, and this is showing up as what to avoid, which is kind of hilarious because that is your goal here. So what I'm understanding here is what to avoid is to avoid backing away from something that is like, okay, there's something going on here, I don't really know what it is, that kind of stuff. It's like, don't ignore it. Definitely keep going in the direction of like where the mystery is, or where like the thing that you're like still unsure about, or maybe it's just like deeply intuitive, or whatever the heck it is, that kind of stuff, okay? Some of you guys maybe are dealing with a Cancer sign, or that could also be something that's going on, maybe a Pisces, okay? I do understand that. So All right, so that's what I have for you guys, Scorpio. I really hope this reading was helpful and made sense, all that kind of stuff. If not, you could check your other placements, and I'll see you guys back for your next one. Thank you. Bye.